People look at my particular situation and say, hey, you were unjustly accused. You had all of your physical, material possessions, all your money taken away by the government unjustly. You were given a prison sentence for the non-crime of contempt of court. Clearly, Kevin, that had to be bad. That had to be something you didn't want. That had to be a negative situation. And the answer is, this is what the universe presented to me as an answer to my prayer. It was actually what I wanted. What you call adversity are always the seeds of a greater benefit. If something happened to you that you knew there was a seed of this great benefit to you, would you call that a good or a bad thing? If you knew that, you would say, this is a gift. This is a good thing. And that's really framing. That's really first and foremost understanding. This is why when something, quote, bad happens, people always say, you know, someday we're going to look back at this and laugh. Well, if that's true, why wait? Laugh now. I remember when I was being transferred from MCC Chicago, Metropolitan Correctional Center, to my ultimate prison that I was going to be spending the next 10 years in. And we got put in these paper suits, paper shirt, paper pants, and paper shoes. It was freezing in Chicago, and we're all shackled up. All of us were being transferred. So we have hand shackles around our waist, foot shackles. We're put on a bus. We're taken to O'Hare Airport, unloaded, and we're standing on the tarmac in paper. And it's freezing. All of the marshals are in parkers with hoods and gloves and their shotguns. And we are just standing there, and everyone is freezing. Well, because of my training, I knew the breathing technique called the breath of fire. So I could generate as much heat in the body that I wanted. This is made famous by the Tibetan monks who would come out in virtually naked in the freezing Himalayas where there's ice and cold and wind and snow. And they would sit on the snow in the freezing cold. And they would sit and meditate virtually naked. And within 15 minutes, all of the snow around them would melt, because they were generating so much heat. Well, I had that training. So as I'm standing on the tarmac and everyone around me is freezing, I'm just using my breath of fire and generating as much heat. And I'm looking at this amazing scenario, and I'm not feeling bad. I am feeling exhilarated and excited, thinking, wow, how many people get the opportunity to experience this? How lucky am I? I mean, there's guys with shotguns, I'm in shackles, I'm on the tarmac, and I am smiling and just feeling amazing because this is an experience. Remember, the journey is the reward. People look at my particular situation and say, hey, you were unjustly accused, you were held in contempt of court, you had all of your physical, material possessions, all your money taken away by the government unjustly. You were given a prison sentence for the non-crime of contempt of court. Clearly, Kevin, that had to be bad. That had to be something you didn't want. That had to be a negative situation. And the answer is, this is what the universe presented to me as an answer to my prayer. It was actually what I wanted. Oh, you didn't want to go to prison. You didn't want to have all your things taken away. The road that gets you to what you ultimately desire is something that you can't foresee. And it's irrelevant, because at the end of the day, the journey is the reward. It's not the destination. Remember, success is not a destination, but a journey. It's the journey that's the reward. And the universe will present to you exactly the best road to get you to what you ultimately want. And when you are presented with something that you don't think is your ultimate desire, if you look at it as, in this is the seed of a great benefit to me, that's when that seed will germinate and begin to blossom.
So how does one get to that revelation? How does one attain that realization?
This is the training that I received, clearing out from my own field and mind the energetic imprints that would get triggered, that would re-stimulate, that would make me feel uncontrollable negative emotions. I didn't have them. So no matter what happens in life, I don't get triggered. So when these, quote, terrible things happen to me, I looked at them all as blessings and gifts and, quite frankly, an exciting adventure. And think about it. When we were kids, we wanted adventure. We wanted to get in trouble. We wanted to do things that were like, oh, we're being chased. Oh, no, we're doing. We created situations where we had our adrenaline pumping and we were nervous and scared. And we loved it because we wanted adventure. We would pay money to go to a horror movie. Psycho is playing, Jaws is playing. We wanted to get scared and feel frightened. We paid to feel frightened. We got on the roller coaster so we could scream and feel frightened. And we both screamed and laughed at the same time because we loved the feeling of feeling frightened and scared. And then a lot of people would go to a tear-jerker movie and they'd come out of the movie crying, oh, it was so sad. I loved it. Wait a minute, you feel terrible, you're crying. I know, it was great. Wait a minute. We pay money to feel and experience all these, quote, negative emotions. But then when life gives us something where we could experience those amazing emotions, we call it a bad situation. Think about that. Isn't that goofy? So when I went through my trials and tribulations or wall of fire or adversity, I never looked at it that way. I looked at it simply as adventure and a blessing. And I knew. I didn't know what I didn't know. And I knew, even though I can't see why, I know someday I'll look back at this and saying, that was a blessing. But I'm not going to wait till someday. I'm going to look at it and call it a blessing today. And at the end of the day, it was. Everything I know at the top, I learned at the bottom. I took those as opportunities to make myself better, whether it was time to write, time to meditate, time to relax, time to meet people that I would have never met from a variety of lifestyles and economic situations and races and cultures. This was an amazing blessing to me. I would never, ever say that what happened to me was bad and I overcame it. I say what happened to me was a blessing. And it's sad that most people don't have the opportunity to go through what I went through.
I suspect most people will find it difficult to see bad things, even tragic things, as blessings. Isn't that right?
It's really a mindset and a decision that a person has to make. If we look at the story of the Chinese man who had one horse and one son, very poor. And one day his son left the corral open and the horse ran away. And all of his friends said, oh my God, it's terrible. It's bad that your horse ran away. And the Chinese man said, maybe it's bad, maybe not. The next day the horse came back and brought with it 10 wild stallions. And now the Chinese man was rich. He had 10 horses. And all of his friends said, that's great news. You have now 10 horses. That's good. And the Chinese man said, well, maybe it is good, maybe it's not. Well, his son decided to break some of the wild stallions. And while trying to break one of the stallion threw the son fell and broke his leg. And all of his friends said, oh, that's terrible, that's bad. Your son broke his leg. And the Chinese man said, well, maybe it's bad, maybe it's not. A few days later, the army came in, conscripting all of the young men, taking them into the army, into the war, and into guaranteed death. But they didn't take his son because his son had a broken leg. And all of his friends said, that's good news. The army didn't take your son. And the Chinese man said, maybe it is, maybe it isn't. And the story continues to go on. So the point is, no matter what happens in life, there is no good or bad things unless we choose them and label them good or bad. There's no good news, there's no bad news, there's just news. You may not see the blessings that are being presented to you. You may not see the seeds of those greater benefits in what you are calling adversity, but they are there. Life never does things to us, it only does things for us. But the reason you're feeling bad is you have samskaras, energetic imprints, things that are being re-stimulated and activating. You have beliefs, you have programming that is triggering irrational and uncontrollable emotion. And you're not going to change any of those situations. The only thing you have control over is your own feelings and thoughts. Viktor Frankl wrote the book Man's Search for Meaning. He was put in a Nazi concentration camp, and every day he wondered if he was going to be next, going into the ovens and being cremated and killed. But he couldn't change the situation, and he said, the only thing I could control were my thoughts. And he understood that. So in life, we can't sometimes control our external conditions or situations, but we can always control our thoughts. We can either respond to something or react automatically and irrationally and uncontrollably. Being in control of your mind allows you to respond to situations instead of just reacting to situations. There really are no good things or bad things in life. There are just things that happen. It's how you either react to them or choose to respond to them that determines how they turn out to your advantage or not. That's really your choice. So no matter what happens in life, if we look at it and pop the champagne and know that in what you think is adversity is actually a gift being presented to you from God or from the universe, or whatever you want to call it, that's when you can really have power and control over your life and, most importantly, your emotions and how you feel. This is how you take advantage of what life is presenting. There's this serenity prayer, which people should focus on. And it says, God grant me the patience to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and most importantly, the wisdom to know the difference.
My income doubled.
I was able to retire at the age of 31.
I went from 5K on my bank account to 8 million.
It's called Your Wish is Your Command, how to manifest your desires. This program trains the brain how to transmit the right frequency. So if you want to make more money, if you want to be happy, if you want to lose weight, if you want better health, if you want to be lucky, if you want a better relationship with your kids, or you want a lover in your life, whatever you want in your life, I teach you how to command your wish and turn it into reality.
I bought a Porsche. I manifested a Rolex. I manifested the home of my dreams.
My life is better.